Okay, this is Kelly from Portland, Maine, not Portland, Oregon, Portland, ME as in Maine. I was reading an article in the Wall Street Journal where college kids are using Google Calendar to schedule hookups.
I actually printed out.
What in the world? What do you make of this? And does the idea of scheduling hookups sound romantic at all? Asked Kelly from Portland.
I
Where did
actually
you print?
printed out the Wall Street Journal
You
article.
did?
Wall Street Journal article.
Way to go.
Okay,
She's
hookups.
doing her homework. She's learning from the master
Yeah, right.
of homework.
I didn't know about anything. I don't know.
Overachiever here.
Right, whatever. Anyway, the thing is, the article did talk about hookups, but it really was primarily about how college kids are so overbooked these days, and kids, even young kids, that they have to create schedules for they're eating from 7 o'clock to 7:15. 7:15 they run to the class. 7:20 they go to the, and so they have to put in the hookups times. And so a couple of kids were saying they were offended when somebody wrote to them and said, how about 8 p.m. hooking up? And then they realized, well, okay, it goes into the schedule. So that was the whole idea.
How many minutes did they schedule
I don't
the
think
hookup for?
They didn't talk about
like
the hookups.
15?
They didn't talk about the minutes. But I think it's really about being overbooked. See, it says hookup college kids schedule literally everything on Google Calendar. So everything is scheduled now on the calendar. It's just, that's the calendar. That is a calendar.
They can't
you could see.
that.
Whatever, they can see. So it's crazy. But I know that my friends that have kids and they have relationships with their spouse, they have to schedule a time to hook up because everybody's life is so crazy busy that there's only a certain amount of hours in the day, and that's what this world has become. And kids have it the worst now because I have friends that have kids in lower grades and higher grades in college. Their whole life is scheduled around dance class, art class, acting class, gymnastics. This is all after school. Me, I had band.
Okay, I'm going to start with this. Small sample size, but I know some college-age kids, and I always intrigued by what's their dating life like, and they don't really date. They go out in big groups on Saturday nights with 20 guys and maybe 10 girls.
Yeah.
And then maybe you end up taking one of the girls to another bar, just the two of you, but they don't seem to date.
I don't know. I maybe people you're talking to, but I think people are dating in college. That's like still a thing. And then they leave college and they're still dating that person, and most likely they break up. But
okay, back in my day, starting in 7th or 8th grade, you go to what in those days was called junior high school.
Yeah.
Everybody tended to have a girlfriend. Everybody tended to go steady, or whatever you want to call that
When
thing.
you were in 8th grade?
Heck yes. Yes.
I didn't.
Well, starting in 9th grade,
in 8th grade,
I had the same girlfriend all the way through high school and the same girlfriend all the way through college.
Right,
and
look where that got you.
Okay, we broke up 29
Shouldn't have
times.
started that early with her.
Okay, but we got married, unfortunately because we thought we were supposed to.
Well, that's because you were dating her when you were 5 years old or something. Yeah. So
actually, I was 14 and she was still 12.
Okay, so the odds of that progressing into a real relationship is like nil.
That's not true. Well, it was.
So when you're 13 years old, and then that's going to last you a lifetime, 13 until you're 98 years old.
Well, I don't know. It's happened before.
Maybe once in a blue moon. I don't know, but that's not the norm.
Okay.
But anyway, I didn't date when I was 8 years old.
No, you didn't.
I was interested in school, and I loved band, and I that was my whole thing.
You didn't really date until you were out on your own in New York.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
So maybe I don't know. I'm the weirdo. So.
Yeah. Okay, but there was that movie, I think you saw it and I didn't, called Friends with Benefits.
Yeah,
so there was
Kunis.
But they were older. It was Mila, was it?
I don't know if it was Ashton Kutcher. I can't remember who the guy was.
But the point was they were just friends who scheduled hookups.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of people do that. I have girlfriends that do that with guys that they're friends, and they just sleep together and that's it, and they're friends.
Okay. Well, so maybe that's not so unusual. It's about scheduling.
This is all about
which obviously to who was it, Kelly? To her point, now it becomes like clockwork, like it takes all the
Well,
romance
it's all
out
about
of it. Like,
Google Calendar dictates students' every waking moment
Okay.
from walks to class to what time they go to bed. It's kind of
Alright.
unnatural, but that's the world today.
okay.
But I still think there's room for romance somewhere, and I don't think the romance is as much, in college as it is when you get out of college and you're living a real
Hey,
life.
I was extremely busy in college because I was overmatched. I was a public
Yeah.
school kid from Oklahoma City at Vanderbilt against, having to compete with these prep school
Right,
kids
but
from
you
New
still had a
York.
girlfriend.
Okay, I did, but my point is, I'm writing for the school paper at Vanderbilt called The Hustler. It's a weird
Yeah.
name, but that's what it was called.
Uh-huh.
And it was not part of the curriculum. Like there was no journalism
Girlfriend?
school.
Oh,
No, the
journalism.
journalism
Oh.
school. So what I'm saying is, talk about busy, and I'm playing
I know, but you
intramural
still had a
sports.
girlfriend.
I know, but my schedule every day was just bam, 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 bam.
That's why you need this
But it was
Google
in my
calendar.
head. I just knew what it was.
But
I
now
know
there's
now
a
I got to
Google
go do
calendar.
this.
Now you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, but you're not actually responding to Kelly's point, which is, doesn't this take all the romance out of it?
It does.
Right?
That's what I
Because
just
now
said,
it's
but
like
I don't know-
mechanical hookup.
I don't know
It's
how
like riding a mechanical
Yes,
bull.
but I don't know how romantic college versus once you get out of college and then you're in the real world. And
Maybe
then you're
romance
working.
has died.
Romance is not dead.
Well, it sounds like it is on that schedule.
Well, this is because these kids are trying to do everything, in a day. So I don't know. Maybe it depends on the people, the guy and girl. If they still want to be romantic, I'm sure they could find romance somewhere. But I find it's a terrible world. It's
Yeah,
a
but
terrible
for-
world that we have to book every. If you look at my calendar, I'm booked 24 hours a day. And then it's like, now it's time to go to sleep. And I got, 5.5 hours? I can maybe sleep. Now I'm back. It's crazy.
Okay.
So it's
There you
sad.
go.
Romance is not. Romance is now you have to schedule romance. I agree with her.
Which does not work.
No, well, it's sad.
Romance pays no heed to time. It has to move at its own pace, right?
Yeah, that's what romance is.
What
It
if
just
you're
happens.
not in the mood, quote unquote, when it's 7:15 and your hookup knocks on the
Well,
door?
that's terrible.
Okay.
That's like when people are trying to get pregnant. They have to,
Well, that's like mechanical bull riding.
right?
Yeah.
So whatever.
Okay.
But I agree with her. Yes.